Matt, it's great to see you. Welcome back.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me back.
So I didn't even realize you're also writing a book right now to deal with the crypto years as they've been. But just give us your top line view of what has happened here with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried.
Well, it's actually not a terribly new story, unfortunately. This is a story that has elements of things that we've seen in the past on Wall Street. There's the dot-com revolution where, you know, you had all these people investing huge sums of money into companies that had no plan, like no pitch, there were no numbers, no nothing. That was pretty common back in the 90s, and that seems to be the case with FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried. There's the total absence of record keeping or any kind of numbers that would help an internal auditor figure out what's going on, which is pretty much what we saw with Bernie Madoff, and that somehow their banker ignored for a dozen years. And, you know, there's a lot of elements to scandals that we've seen before. And I think that this is probably just the beginning of some stuff that's going to happen in the crypto world going forward, even though I think it's a good idea in principle.
Right, and so Matt, you covered so extensively the 2008 moment and crash and the aftermath. We talked a lot here about how this was a, quote, Lehman moment. You were speaking before to us about Bernie Madoff and some of the history that is aligned. Can you lay some of that out for people who were maybe too young at the time to remember some of the details?
Yeah, I mean, Madoff was really just a straight-up Ponzi scheme where he convinced a bunch of he was wealthy himself, obviously, and he was telling wealthy clients that he could deliver incredible returns, and he showed them, you know, records of returns that he was delivering. Actually, it was just a Ponzi scheme. He was taking money from new investors and using it to pay out to old investors, which is the oldest trick in the book. And there were no actual trades. There was an investor named Harry Markopoulos, or an investigator, who told the SEC about this like 10 years before it blew up. But a thing that Americans don't know is there's nobody in the American government who investigates or regulates hedge funds. So this just went unnoticed. And so unfortunately, it's not that much different for investment banks, which is how 2008 happened, because there were all these messes in places like Lehman Brothers, where they had basically no money and they were borrowing massively. And, you know, one day you had to pay the piper eventually, and it turned out they had no cash. And the problem with the modern financial system is everybody's interrelated. And so when one goes, there's always the possibility that a whole slew of others are going to go with them. So that's kind of the problem here.
There's a tweet that is going viral again that I want to see if you think is a fair characterization or rough approximation of a fair characterization, that says, I'm sick of people calling everything in crypto a Ponzi scheme. Some crypto projects are pump and dump schemes. Others are pyramid schemes. Others are just standard issue fraud. Others are just middlemen skimming off the top. Stop glossing over the diversity in the industry.
That's pretty. I mean, that's very funny. Look, I hate to joke about this because I think crypto is a good idea, actually.
I agree with that.
You know, it was designed actually specifically to get around the problems of 2008. The blockchain technology is there so that people can basically have a record of all transactions, and so you get around the problem of centralized finance, right? This is the big thing that they're after, is to get away from the problem of some body above all the customers who's kind of telling you what's going on financially, but you don't get to see. And in an ideal world, that's how it would work. But this is the exact opposite of that. This is Sam Bankman-Fried was basically just borrowing from Peter to pay Paul between these two companies, which is the definition of centralized finance. This is right. This is exactly what they weren't supposed to be doing.
Well, and so where does the hopeful promise and idealism of crypto, like, is there a way to do this where it doesn't end up with just like total fraudsters rising to the top? Because it seems to me one of the lessons from 2008 wasn't like, let's go in a totally unregulated direction. It was like, oh, we actually need to go back to some of the old guardrails that used to make banking more boring, frankly, and used to separate the like wild speculative thing, like what Alameda was doing, from the, boring business of like regular customer banking. So do you think that there is a way to do this that doesn't end up in the same place?
Yeah, I think so. I think you need some basic regulations. I think those regulations probably already exist. It would just take. It's just a question of the relevant authorities like the CFTC deciding that certain companies qualify for regulation under existing laws, and then once you have that, then you'll probably have sufficient authority to go in and make sure there's no hanky-panky going on. But I do think that similar to what happened in the dot-com revolution, where you had all these web vans and e-toys and all these other fraud schemes, sucking up mass amounts of money. But in the end, we did end up with Google and Amazon and other companies that were major revolutionary companies. I think that's going to happen with crypto. I think there will be products, Ethereum, Bitcoin, maybe that will survive, and they will become something that will grow out of all this. But for the time being, it's the Wild West. And anytime you have a loose monetary environment, lots and lots of places to borrow money and not a whole lot of places to put it, this is what's going to happen, is stuff like this.
Yep, I think it's really well said. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Matt. We really appreciate it, man.
Great to see you, Matt.
Good to see you both. Thanks very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, our pleasure.
Thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. We got the live shows going on, New York, Boston. Links are going to be down in the description of the video. For those of us who can help us out, look, the premium membership right now, we're building up for 2024. We've got 2 new great hires that we're going to announce very, very soon here on the show. I think you guys will be really excited. We're really just happy with, things are getting professional. We've got some upgrades that we want to do here, hire more people, give you guys the best possible coverage that we can. Link is down there in the description. Otherwise, Counterpoints will be tomorrow, and we'll see you guys next week.
Love you guys. See you soon. Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.